Let's go ahead and get started. If everybody could go ahead and join us and stand for the prayer and the pledge of allegiance of the flag.
Heavenly Father, we, as always, thank you for this day. We thank you for this time together. We thank you for giving us the guidance as a council to make decisions on behalf of all of our citizens here in Talbot County. Bless us with the knowledge and wisdom that you see fit. And just thank you for all that you do within our county. Thank you for provision. Thank you for safety. Thank you for your love and grace. In Jesus' most precious and holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, I appreciate everybody being here this afternoon with our new time. So try to get everybody out of here, and that way we can go home and have, somewhat of a happy hour if we can. Sounds good. All right, the agenda is before us. Is there any additions, deletions, or correction to the agenda, council? Yeah. Okay. Hearing none, the chair moves that the agenda be accepted as unanimous consent. All right, next is the minutes of May 7th that are before us. Any additions, corrections, or deletions to the minutes? No. Okay, all good. Hearing none, the chair moves that the minutes be accepted as unanimous consent. Next on the agenda is the disbursements of June 4th and June 11th that we've all taken a look at. Any corrections, deletions, or additions to the minutes? Or disbursements, yeah, sorry. Hearing none, okay, the chair moves that the disbursements be accepted as unanimous consent. Okay. All right. First on the agenda here is we've got introduction of a number of resolutions. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and start us off with that, please?
A resolution to amend the Talbot County Comprehensive Water and Sewer Plan for the purposes of approving an alternate location for the pump station and expanding the potential route for the force main to provide sanitary sewer service to the University of Maryland Medical Center, Shore Regional Medical Center, to be located at 10,000 Longwoods Road, Easton, Maryland, and the Talbot County Community Center located 10028 Ocean Gateway, Easton, Maryland, as initially set forth in Resolution Number 184, adopted on September 13th, 2011.
Okay. Mr. Thomas, you want to go ahead and get us started on that? You're Mr. Clark? Tell us a little bit.
I don't know if Mr. Clark is here.
Is it
Mr.
Mike?
Murtaugh.
Yeah. Mr. Murtaugh, you want to come on up?
Sure.
Yeah.
I can give a little bit of background and maybe Mike can
sure. That'd be great.
follow up.
Okay.
So the original Resolution 184 had a specific a line sewer route for the force main to serve the community center and the new hospital property. This amendment was requested by the town and follows the discussions between the county, the town, and Shore Health regarding the DRA, the Public Works Agreement, and this would provide an alternate location for the pump station and expands the potential route for where the force main for the sewer to serve the properties would go, to give some flexibility as the parties evaluate all possible options for that line.
Okay. All right. Great. You got anything to add, Mike?
Not much.
Okay.
That covers it well.
Yeah, so, okay. Any other questions, council? This is just introduction, so, okay. So, okay, at this time, to be a raise of hands to introduce, please.
So introduced by Callahan, Steplesher, and Mielke.
Okay. And I should have added, Mrs. Haith is out tonight. She's not feeling too well, so we wish her the best. So just want.
She's on the mend.
Yep, she's on the mend. So, okay. So the next is introduction of legislation. Oh, I'm sorry.
Public hearing.
Oh, okay. I got you.
This will be known as Resolution Number 360, and the public hearing will be held on Tuesday, July 9th at 5:30.
Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Okay. Are we ready for the next, Madam Secretary? Okay.
Want me to read them all, read each one?
Well, I think we need to sort of, with this, Martha, you want to come up? Okay, in case we have a question or two. So let's go ahead, Madam Secretary. If you just read the, what we'll do is we'll just read the bill, and if anybody's got any questions, we can take care of it and move on to the next.
Okay,
Is that good?
sure.
Were you getting ready to say something?
No.
Okay. That was your partner there. Yeah,
He's referring to me as your partner.
yeah, yeah.
I'm good.
There's clay stuff over there. We're not ready for clay stuff, you know? Okay.
A bill to amend Bill Number 1427 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for the construction of new recycling stations in Talbot County.
Okay, any questions? Okay, show of hands.
Again, introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill Numbers 1532 and 1516 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for improvements to and expansion of the St. Michael's branch of the Talbot County Free Library.
Okay, any questions? Okay, raise your hands.
Again, introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill Number 1533 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for improvements to the Talbot County Detention Center.
Okay. Any questions on that one, on that bill? Okay, raise the hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill Number 1534, 1486, and 1424 for the purpose of amending the appropriation to purchase improved or unimproved real property for future county purposes.
Okay. Any questions?
Do we want to offer the briefest explanation of this one as one of the vaguest of? We put a certain appropriation into reserve for the acquisition of county lands, and such appropriation, I believe, was used in the past year, and so this is to give the county flexibility for that future allocation.
That is correct.
Okay, raise the hands.
Again, introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
That's my place. Sorry. A bill to amend Bill 1391 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for the replacement of the county courthouse complex HVAC system.
Okay, any questions on that? Bill? Right, raise the hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill Numbers 1536 and 1187 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for extension of water and sewer lines to the Talbot County Community Center and the proposed University of Maryland Shore Regional Medical Center Hospital site located between Longwoods Road, Maryland Route 662, and US Route 50 in Easton, Maryland.
Okay. Any questions on 1536?
And again, this one is related to the obligation made by a past council to incentivize the construction of the Shore Medical System on the outskirts of Easton, and we do have that obligation to from that past council to ensure that we extend the utilities to that site.
Okay, raise the hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill Numbers 1537, 1509, and 1484 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for a capital project for the construction of emergency medical services stations.
Okay, any questions on this? I will say that Mr. Stamp did worked hard and his staff to get this. Mr. Stamp, you want to tell
We're excited, council, for the opportunity to locate a 6th paramedic crew in the north end of the county. Of course, we have the director, Brian LeCates, here. We all have worked real hard. Thankfully, the council has authorized the hiring of these personnel. And once we build a station in that area, which this will allow us to do that, we'll be able to deliver faster service to the people in the north end of the county and try to achieve our goal, which is a national standard to deliver advanced life support within 8 minutes, 90% of the time. So this is exciting for the public safety community and the community in general.
Right, and for people to understand their locations, it's going to be directly across from Chapel School, so.
That's correct. I'll be asking council this evening for permission to enter a lease purchase arrangement to be able to locate the EMS station across from Chapel Elementary School.
Sounds great. Okay, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill number 1511 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for the acquisition, construction of a Talbot County Health Department facility.
Okay, any questions on 1511? Bill 1511?
Well, we're getting to the end
Yep.
of this project
We
now.
sure are. Yep.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We adjusted the amount that would come from long-term borrowing based upon the bond premium that we received. So we have extra funds to spend towards that project. So that is the reason for that addition.
This
Thank
is an exciting opportunity to give
Yep.
a plug to the health department. They are excited. They will be relocating their operation to what is called Achievement Park, or the Cadmus property, which should be completed next month. And I think they're going to have ribbon cutting and an open house later this month. So that's been a long time coming, and the health department is very excited about moving into their new facility. So
Okay,
that's
sounds great. Appreciate that. Raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill numbers 1504 and 1478 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for the expansion of broadband to unserved and underserved areas of the county.
Okay, Bill 1504 and 1478. Any questions on that one? Okay. Yep.
So this is an excellent partnership with Easton Utilities to deliver broadband across Talbot County. This is a housekeeping initiative by our finance department to make sure that things are in line. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that. But this is good. We're delivering broadband across Talbot County.
Great. Okay. All right, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill numbers 1542 and 1505 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for replacement and improvement of 911 Division Technologies and the 911 Division Computer Aided Dispatch, CAD system.
Okay. Any questions on Bill 1542 and 1505? Okay. Hearing none. Raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill numbers 1514, 1489, and 1398 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for the construction of a Talbot County Public Safety Center.
Okay. Bill 1514, 1489, and 1398. Any questions on those bills?
This
Hearing-
is another project that we're getting toward the end of. Final adjustments likewise with, similar to the health center.
Correct. That is
Yep.
correct.
So everybody understands that's the new sheriff's department and new future 911 center. Go ahead, Mr. Stan.
So we're excited about this project as well. This is the completion of a retrofit for the Mary's Court building, which will house on the first floor of the sheriff's office. We hope to have him moved in toward the end of the year. And additionally, the 911 center eventually will be moved over there. Initially, it will be set up as a backup center and allow for a fully redundant backup center between the one on Port Street and Mary's Court, so that we have a functional center that they will actually staff on and off, and then eventually move to Mary's Court, where it will house the administrative offices and the 911 center and the emergency operations center at the Mary's Court building. So it is exciting.
Okay. I'm going to show a raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill number 1503 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for improvements to county bridges.
Okay, Bill 1503. Any questions on that? Okay, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill numbers 1477, 1448, and 1366 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for improvements to Black Dog Alley.
Okay. Many questions on Bill 1477, 1448, and 1366. Any questions? Okay, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill numbers 1541 and 1506 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for improvements to county roads.
Okay, any questions on Bill 1541, 1506? Any questions? Okay, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to amend Bill numbers 1510, 1501, 1474, 1457, 1422, 1335, and 1317 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for stormwater management and improvements for Goldsboro Neck Road and Airport Road.
Okay, any questions on these bills?
This is another project that we're finally getting to the toward the end of, I believe.
Yeah.
Wrapping up soon.
Okay. Okay, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to authorize the construction of and improvements to the concession stand at the Talbot County Community Center, Community Sports Complex.
Yep. Any questions on this?
I know of some sports parents who are going to be very happy
They're
that
gonna be
this one
very
is
happy.
being included in this
They're
year's
gonna-
budget and capital
They're
enabling
gonna be-
legislation.
You got it.
That is the understatement of the evening, Mr. Lesher.
Okay. Raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to authorize the construction and improvement of the stone revetment and bulkhead at Sinclair Avenue Waterfront Park in Tillman, Maryland.
Okay, any questions on that bill? Raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to authorize the replacement of the dehumidifier at the Talbot County Community Center.
Any questions on that bill?
Just a quick comment, we made
Yep.
that huge investment in the ice out there. This is to basically finish that project, and just put a capstone on that project out there, so well
Sounds
needed.
good. That's good. Okay, a raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Lesher, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to authorize the replacement of the generator at the Talbot County Community Center.
Okay, any questions on this bill with the generator?
Same comment as last time.
You got it. You got it. Okay. Raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
A bill to authorize improvements to the vacuum collection system serving the Region 2 Martingham Sewer Service Area.
That was item R.
Yes, I see that. Any questions on that? Okay, raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
Okay. And the last one?
The last one is a bill
Yep.
to amend Bill number 1538 for the purpose of amending the appropriation for improvements to and expansion of the Chapel District Elementary School.
Okay. Any questions on Bill 1538 with the school?
That's a big one.
Yep, it is.
Well down the road,
Yep.
let's keep going.
Yep. Okay, a raise of hands.
Introduced by Callahan, Stepp, Lesher, and Milky.
Okay, that's good. All right, Martha, thank you. Okay, good, Mr.
You know, I'm
Stan.
just gonna,
Yeah.
I want to recognize Martha and her
Okay.
team and all her hard work on helping council put this together. This is exciting for the people out there in the community that hears this. There's a lot of work being authorized here, so your county's hard at work to do great things in our community. And so this gives us the marching orders. It will go through due process, as any bill will, and it won't be finalized until somewhere around the third week of September, if all goes well for each one. But we're excited about doing the work, so thank you.
And just to remind everybody, it's in the 25 budget, what we've did here.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
yep,
And I would say that we're really proud of the budget that we worked on with
Yep.
staff, with our department heads,
Yep.
and with council. I think we all have a lot to be proud of here.
I do too. Yep, yep. Thanks a lot, Martha, I
Thank you,
appreciate it.
Martha.
Yep. Okay,
Miss-
yeah,
Public hearing?
yep. Next.
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
No, we're not at 5:30. We can't open the public hearing yet.
Oh, okay.
Mr. President, can
No,
we
I
make
meant
a
numbers.
motion to
I
do
meant for
county
these,
manager
the
report?
numbers.
You announce the public hearing on these
Public
bills.
hearing
She
for
needs to
these.
announce the bill numbers and public
Oh,
hearing
I'm sorry.
dates.
Yep, go ahead.
These will be known as bill number 1554 through 1574, and the public hearing will be on Tuesday, July 9th at 5:30 PM.
Okay, sounds great. Okay, so, like you said, the public hearing starts in about 10 minutes, so, Mr. Stamp, you want to go ahead and do your thing?
Sure, be glad to,
Yeah,
thank you.
sure, okay.
Okay, council, we have under county manager report, boards and committee appointments for this evening. The first will be the airport board requesting the reappointment of Mr. Charles Daffin and Mr. Jack Pettit, who have served well on the airport board. They are interested in reappointment.
Okay,
So moved.
I'll second.
okay, there's a motion, a second, to put the existing board members back on the airport board. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
The next council, we're requesting the reappointment of Mr. Anthony Kern to the Ethics Commission, and this is a reappointment.
Okay. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second to do a reappointment. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
And the next is the Weed Control Committee. We're requesting the reappointment of Levin Schwaneker and Donald Webster to the Weed Control Committee.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and second to go ahead and reappoint two gentlemen on the weed committee. Could call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Mike, are you here on the STEP systems? Sure. Okay. So we'll have Mike Murtaugh, the Assistant County Engineer, to talk about the request from the Department of Public Works for the purchase of 10 Orenco septic tank effluent pump systems, known as STEP systems. The pricing under bid 2312. Mike will go over this, and I'll cover anything that he might miss in the request.
So these tanks are part of our sewer extension efforts, such as Resolution 235. We're with all our new sewer extensions and installations, we are trying to standardize this equipment. And so what we're doing is we're buying them in manageable batches so they can be installed when we do sewer extensions. So the STEP system it's the system we've used in Royal Oak and all's septic tank effluent pump. Basically, it's like a septic tank, but there's a pump that actually pumps it into our force main, and it actually is what pressurizes our force mains as opposed to more pump stations. So we're doing it in batches of 10.
Right.
And so
So that's good, yes. So this is requesting your approval to procure 10 additional Orenco STEP units at a total cost of $69,400. Council previously approved the award bid 2312 to sole bidder of Orenco Systems on November 14th of 2023, and MD subsequently approved that as well. There are sufficient funds in the budget to cover the cost of this project, so we're requesting council your approval.
Okay. Any questions?
I'll move
Okay.
approval of the bid.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, got a motion second to go ahead and approve the step system.
Didn't want it to look.
Any comments, Mr.
Did,
Step?
Councilmember Step make the motion to approve the
I
step
think
system?
Lynn and I tied for.
Okay.
I didn't want it to look like a conflict.
Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
And then finally, Brian, you want to come up? So council, we are requesting your consideration to give us approval to enter into a lease with option to purchase with the Meadow Farm Joint Venture LLC for property located in Cordova across from the Cordova Elementary School, 5 acres of property, which will be the eventual site of the North EMS station. And Brian is here and he could add anything that you might want to share with council about the location of this
Sure.
station.
Thank you, Mr. Stamp. So as Mr. Stamp mentioned earlier in the meeting, this will be our 6th paramedic station, and it's strategically placed so that we are able to answer our calls within 8 minutes. We try to strive for 8 minutes of our 90% of our calls answered within 8 minutes or arrive within 8 minutes. Currently, we're not meeting that goal in the northern part of Talbot County, very specifically Queen Anne and Hillsborough. So this will allow us to be strategically placed to do that.
Okay. Okay, any questions?
It's a big step forward. Thank you.
Yep.
Yes,
yep.
thank you.
Sure is. Yep. Any other
Keep it
questions?
moving.
And I personally want to thank the Gannon family for helping us through this and giving us an opportunity to make this happen.
Yeah, and I would double that, Mr. Council President. As you all remember, Ms. Sylvia Gannon
Right.
was a major supporter of our EMS system here in Talbot County,
Yep.
and I think the family certainly recognized that and wanted to step forward and be helpful in our
Right.
setting up a station up there. So
Yep.
we do recognize all of her work, and that rolls into the effort to build this
Yep.
station along with their family.
Sure does. So, okay.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion second. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote, please?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Step?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you
Thank
all.
you, Brian. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I should have talked slower because
It's
you still
okay.
have like 3
Sorry.
minutes. Oh,
You could tackle the MALPF.
Okay.
yeah, we could.
Yep, we
That
can do the
completes your
mouth.
county
Yep.
manager report
Okay,
for this
that's
evening,
good.
council. Thank you.
That's good. So, like Mr. Lesher said, we can do the mouth. You guys want to come on up? You got 3 minutes.
Take your time. Take your time.
Good evening, Council. Brennan, Tarleton, Department Head for the Department of Planning and Zoning. With me tonight is Elisa Deflaux, our newest and promoted Planner 3 in the department, actually. She'll be presenting you the information with
Congratulations.
reference to the MALPF applications for fiscal year 25.
Thank you. We began the application process in February. We received 38 applications. Of the 38, 3 were dropped out, 2 got offers, and 1 went to settlement. So we processed 35 applications, and of those, we'd like your support to send the highest ranking 16 to the state by July 1st.
And as I recall, when you review MALPF applications, there's a scoring that has to do with, we want to preserve the best farmland, the highest quality soils, the ones that are adjacent to other preserved tracts. There's a whole series of criteria that you score these by, and these
Yes.
are clearly the ones that are considered by the criteria the most valuable tracts to preserve permanently as farmland.
Yes, sir. And they also get points for their stewardship practices, their adjacency to other preserved lands, in the ranking process.
Right. A list of 16 seems like unusually large. Maybe we had a large list last year, but I think in past years it's been a much smaller list. How have we been so fortunate to be able to award this many preservation agreements this year?
Well, the number of applications is based on what the state will take. So every county gets to submit 16 applications. And last year, I think it was 14.
Okay, okay.
So to clarify, these aren't offers that have been accepted by MALPF at this point in time. This is the amount of applications that they've allowed each county to submit to them for consideration for funding with FY25 dollars.
Okay. And does some of this come out of the open space funding that is, the funding that is from the transfer tax appropriated in Talbot County?
Yes, that's correct. So the money that was appropriated by this council last year went into the contribution or the matching fund, so to speak, with the MALPF program, as we do every year to be a participant within that program, which leverages additional percentages of those funds to be afforded to the county for participation in that program.
Terrific. It's great to see this, and great to see the level of interest. So not necessarily all 16 of these will make the final cut.
That is correct.
Okay.
But they'll, as they continue to apply, they will continue to move up.
Terrific.
And
Okay.
perhaps, at some time.
Thank you very much for bringing these forward, and it's always exciting to see this.
Okay.
Do we need a motion to forward these to the state? I will so move.
Okay, we got a motion second to go ahead and push forward with the application as presented. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Okay. I want to go ahead and start the public hearing. Madam Secretary, could you go ahead and read the resolution number 357, please?
Resolution number 357, a resolution to amend a development rights and responsibilities agreement dated October 14th, 2014, by and between Talbot County, Maryland, the town of Easton, and Shore Health System, Inc., and recorded among the land records of Talbot County and LIBER MAS 2206, FOLIO 206.
Okay, thank you, Madam Secretary. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and open it to the public hearing, and Mr. Thomas or Brennan, do you guys want to do a brief?
I can
Where-
briefly summarize.
Yeah,
yes.
if you don't mind, before we get into.
Yes,
Yep.
as we discussed during our work session
Mhm.
a couple of weeks ago, this amendment mainly updates outdated provisions of the existing DRRA
Mhm.
and moves the public works related language into the public works agreement
Mhm.
that's still being worked on between the parties.
Right.
For reasons as we discussed previously, the sewer route is being evaluated.
Sure.
I think as you'll hear during the public hearing, we're addressing the relocation of Route 662, and those items are still being worked out. So this will
Yes.
address sort of some of the, the housekeeping items in the DRA,
Right.
and then we'll deal with those other items in a separate agreement.
Okay, that sounds great.
And council, just to make you aware, on June 5th, the Planning Commission considered the revised DRA document for consistency with the 2016 Comprehensive Plan, and by way of a 3-0 vote, they found it consistent with the Comprehensive Plan, with 2 of the members from the Planning Commission being absent for the meeting.
Okay, that's great. All righty then. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started on the public hearing. I'll give 3 minutes to individuals and 5 minutes to organizations that want to come up and talk at the public hearing. So at this time, I'll go ahead and open it up here to my left. If you guys want to come on up and say anything to yep. Yep. That was my other right. Yeah, yes, sorry. It's a little confusing, but you're here. That's fine. It's all right.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan.
Yeah,
Ryan
no problem.
Showalter, on behalf of Shore Health System. I do have a brief, there's a component of the DRA that deals with Route 662 that I wanted to share with the council.
Sure.
I don't know whether you want to hear from the rest of the public first, or whether you'd like me to do that now. It may take slightly more than 5 minutes, but I want to make sure that we share that as we.
While you're here, let's just go to it.
Okay. Is this turned on?
And we got paperwork in front of us too.
During your work session, it became apparent that it might be useful for the council to just be a little more familiar with the property. There were some questions about property transfers and some adjustments in the DRA. So just to orient you, existing Route 662 runs straight through the western portion of these parcels. The hospital sits on top of existing 662, and 662 is proposed to be reconstructed and relocated to the east around the hospital. It will have a new entrance from Route 50, which will utilize the curb cut that is the community center entrance. And there will be a new entrance constructed to the community center from the west. Lot 4, this parcel shown in light blue, is the parcel that was referenced during the work session as county property. You retained that when the county transferred the rest of the campus site to the hospital. So that's owned by the county today. It will still be owned by the county in the future. And Shore Health is constructing the access road and the associated stormwater management for the county across that parcel. The county also owns a narrow strip of land along Halem School Road. The existing DRA talks about Shore Health's dedication of a road widening strip to the county. We actually implemented that sort of in reverse. So when this land was subdivided under the county's ownership, that subdivision created the strip of land for road widening. The county transferred everything that you see in green to Shore Health, but kept that strip of land. So that the county already received that, and you own that today for your use for future widening of Halem School Road. The parcels that are shaded in pink or purple will all be state highway ownership. And so the new alignment of Route 662 running north and south, Medical Center Drive, which is the east-west connection to Route 50, and then parcels on both the north and south side of the Medical Center Drive entrance for acceleration and deceleration lanes. And then there are 3 parcels for stormwater management associated with state highway right-of-way. Those parcels are all currently owned by Shore Health System and will be transferred to the state when we construct the new road. There are 3 other parcels. There are 4 other parcels shown in yellow. Lot 7, which is on Heiner's Lane, that parcel is currently owned by the county. This parcel was identified in the existing DRA as the pump station / substation parcel. And 10 years ago, it was anticipated that this is where a sewer pump station for Easton Utilities as well as an electric substation would be constructed. But plans have changed. So the actual pump station is going to be located south of the hospital in this yellow area. And land for a new electric substation is needed on the west side of the site adjacent to Delmarva Power's transmission lines. So what this amendment provides is that Shore Health will carve out of its properties land for the pump station and substation, and the former pump station substation parcel will be transferred from the county to Shore Health. So we're doing a swap. It works out that Easton Utilities gets more land from Shore Health than was planned originally, but this lot 7 is no longer needed for those purposes because we're creating separate pump station and substation parcels. And then the last property exchange that's addressed by the DRA is lot 6. That's currently titled in the county's name also. That is the site for a future water tower if one is ever needed. And so this parcel will be transferred by the county to the town of Easton for Easton Utilities use. Does that make sense?
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second piece that I'd like to walk through, the DRA has a lot of details about infrastructure construction. As Patrick mentioned, we're moving those details out of the Development Rights and Responsibilities Agreement into a Public Works Agreement. One of the components of those details relates to the realignment of Route 662. And the red dashed line that you see on the screen is the existing bed of that road. You can see it clips across the corner of the tower of the hospital. The current DRA has provisions that basically says that Shore Health will construct new 662, and when it is open for traffic, old 662 will be transferred from the state to the county to Shore As we've worked through the design of the building grew in size and unfortunately grew a little bit to the north onto the bed of 662. And as we worked through the sequencing of construction, one thing that became very apparent is that the construction of the hospital and completion of the hospital would be materially delayed if we can't begin work on the hospital foundations while we're constructing new 662. And so what that means is that we will be before you maybe as early as your next meeting with proposed amendments to an existing bill. The county council adopted Bill 1231 10 years ago, and 1231 was the legislative process by which the county determined that the right-of-way of existing 662 isn't needed for public use and could be transferred to Shore Health. That bill conditions the transfer on the new road being complete. And what we have to do is we have to temporarily close Route 662 to keep the construction project on schedule. And so this is an illustration. This is a photo taken of existing 662 with the new hospital project superimposed over it. You can see that the hospital will extend just onto the bed of the road. There's a grade difference. We're filling and elevating the building pad by about 6 to 8 feet underneath the hospital. So there's a lot of earthwork that has to happen. And that work has to occur and have time to settle before you can construct foundations. So without getting into lots of details about the construction sequence, if we can't do all of the grading work while we're building new 662, it delays the construction of this entire wing of the hospital and adds 8 months of construction delay to the completion of the hospital. So we've had a lot of meetings with county staff, with Mr. Stamp, with Mr. Clark and Murtaugh, and Mr. Thomas, meetings with State Highway Administration to talk about how we're going to deal with this. As we looked at it, one thing that was evaluated was the possibility of not building that portion of the hospital concurrent with the rest of it. And the construction modeling shows that 8-month delay is not recoverable. So if we can temporarily close Route 662, we have the hospital essentially closed in and ready for interior finishing in the summer of 2026. If we cannot close Route 662, that pushes that into the spring of 2027, and there's no way to recover that schedule. And so what we're proposing to do, we're proposing a closure of 662 from the fall of this year, likely October or November, into the spring of 2025. We're going to work aggressively on the construction of the new road alignment. We're going to build it from both the north and south end, so we'll have 2 crews building 662 simultaneously, so that the closure of 662 occurs only during the off-peak travel hours or travel period of Route 50. So we will avoid the reach the beach traffic. We have obviously additional coordination details to work through with State Highway Administration, and we've certainly heard comments and concerns from the Department of Public Works about how we manage public communications, signage around that closure, and more importantly, how we make sure that traffic that uses detours, whether it's Route 50 or county roads, is conducted safely and done in a way that doesn't damage county roads. And so we're going to have an agreement for you that provides for inspections and make sure that Shore Health is responsible to protect county roads associated with that detour. But I wanted to give you a little advanced view of that because that's something that's important to maintain the schedule. And because of the anticipated construction date in August, we're quickly approaching a short period of time to work through those details. So we're doing that diligently, but I wanted you to have at least an advanced view of what's coming.
So, Mr. Showalter, when do you anticipate starting the construction of the relocated 662?
We anticipate starting construction of the project in August, and that road construction would begin in the August to September timeframe. We have to establish a lot of erosion sediment control first, but it would begin within the next 2 months.
And that's an 8-month construction?
Approximately. It would proceed with 2 crews concurrently, 6 days a week, and will be completed before Reach the Beach traffic begins in the spring.
And is the construction time frame because of the requirements for the engineering, the layers of the construction specifications for the state highway?
So it's associated with both the scope of the work, and also the complexity of the road. Any road that's open for public use that is a state road has to comply with state highway specifications. And so that's, it's very robust construction in terms of a base. If you recall from the other slide, there's a great deal of stormwater management, and there's no stormwater management out there today, but under current regulations, there's extensive stormwater management improvements that are required in all of these pink areas. And so that's the fastest that we can construct that road.
And will you be constructing a temporary roadbed to route traffic around to be able to keep that road open?
We will not. So we will keep this road open until the point when grading has to occur within the roadbed. One of the options that was discussed was the possibility of using a temporary roadbed, but a temporary roadbed would have to be constructed to the exact same state highway standards, and so it doesn't provide any savings. It would require engineering of essentially a duplicate road with months of permitting review and no time savings, because we have to build the same quality of a road. So that was certainly not. We looked at a wide range of options.
So you've already got your engineering and bids, you're ready to roll on this project?
This road has been engineered, the bidding is complete, and we have 2 votes. We have a vote remaining tomorrow evening, a vote on Friday. That vote on Friday will clear the path for construction of this project.
But your contractor can't mobilize until August?
They can't mobilize until we can get final permits. So the final votes this week will authorize the funding for the project. We have to post bonds and get final construction permits from the town of Easton, which I anticipate are going to take another several weeks. And we don't want to close 662. There's no benefit in closing 662 early. We want to make sure that closure occurs outside of the Reach the Beach season.
Okay. I think it's, knowing how busy that road is, knowing how important that road is to our agricultural community, that we look at every possible alternative to closing 662.
So we're happy to have more discussion about all the alternatives. We've considered a wide range of alternatives, and this is the alternative that is functional and that works.
I just have a quick question, because I'm new to
Sure.
this plan. And I'd like to understand why the building didn't take into consideration its original design, having this teeny part that was going to cause us to have to change the county highway. Why couldn't it have been oriented a little bit differently to avoid this whole situation?
Well, so the building ended right about here before. It always was very close to 662. The slight change in growth in the building occurred after virtually everything else was designed. So shifting the building and shifting that design would have added 6 months or 9 months of.
But why wasn't it originally taken into consideration? That that this design would impact a county road to cause all the costs to the county.
State road.
It's a
State road,
road,
excuse me,
that's right.
state road, sorry.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't recall all the considerations. That was a decision made 10 years ago. And so those decisions were not revisited in an effort to keep this project moving and on schedule.
Thank you.
Sure. Did you want to say
I
something?
just have a
Mr. Stone?
question. Can you articulate the state's position on this? This is clearly a state highway, and they're the ones that are going to have to approve a closure of a state highway. Do you know where you stand right now with the state highway administration?
So we've had a lot of discussions with State Highway, and we've looked at different alternatives with State Highway. And the State Highway administration, I think their position is that they don't want to add cost or time to the completion of the project. and that we need to work with the county to make sure county concerns about alternative routes are addressed. Their official position is that they don't detour state highway traffic on county roads. So they view Route 50 as the official detour for this closure. But we understand that there are people who will not solely use Route 50, and that Halem School and Goldsboro Neck Road will be impacted. And so the state highways made it clear that we need to work with your staff to address those concerns. And we've talked about a wide range of considerations, including investigation and survey of the county roads prior to construction, and then having weekly evaluation of county roads to make sure that traffic that's using them doesn't impact the roads.
Okay. All right, well, this is kind of definitely working in progress, that's for sure, and we'll know a little bit farther come. I feel like hopefully we have a good 2 meetings Wednesday and Friday, and then we can build off of that and try to bring the whole parties together.
Absolutely.
And hold parties together and kind of figure out the timing of this, because obviously there is a concern of us nosing into the state's business and trying to work out a solution because it's their road. So, and I don't want, at the end of the day, I don't want it to feel like we're the problem because it's their road. So,
Well, it's their road, but it's also your roads. I mean, that's the balance.
It's a state road.
This is a state road.
But it's gonna push traffic onto Halem School Road. It's gonna push traffic onto Airport Road and Goldsboro Neck and so
So
forth.
I just kind
That
of
isn't
feel
there now.
like we'll get there.
Absolutely.
We'll get there.
And we've heard that concern, and
Yep.
we're mindful of it, and we're gonna work to address it.
And we're working on our end too. Yep. So, okay.
Thank you for the
Okay.
extra
One more question, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
go ahead, no
While
problem.
you're here,
Yes, sir.
lot 1, I believe that, the green one on the
Lot-
north side of town?
Lot 1, this lot? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
what is what's the purpose for that one? Or the intended purpose for that area?
There's no specific land plan for that at this time. It's intended for future likely medical office, but complementary uses associated with a regional medical campus.
Okay.
I likewise have an unrelated question, which has to do with the change of the term in the DRRA. This sort of resets the duration of the
That's
DRRA, the start date for the 30-year term of the DRRA. Does it affect any of the other critical performance dates that are in the DRRA, or only the end expiration date of the agreement?
All that it does is extend the expiration of the agreement. And one of the most of the key performance dates, Mr. Lesher, are associated with infrastructure. And the reason why they're coming out of the DRA is many of them are still unresolved. So, procurement for significant electrical components, for example, those timeframes are drastically different than they were 10 years ago, or even than they were pre-COVID. And so those provisions are going to be in public works agreements, multiple public works agreements between the county, town, and Shore Health. So those changes will still come before you to the extent they at least relate to water and sewer, or to the town if they relate to electric and other utilities. But they don't need to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. And the DRA has this statutory process for amendments that it would be very cumbersome to deal with, infrastructure, construction details, and going to multiple council meetings, multiple public hearings, and multiple Planning Commission meetings for stuff that isn't in the comprehensive plan. So the term extension does not affect those dates, but those dates are being adjusted to make sure that the county can perform on its dates, Shore Health and Eastern Utilities can all meet their respective obligations.
Thank you.
Sure. Yep. One more thing.
So there was a concern raised by some previous folks that worked on the DRA that the question was whether the adjustment to DRA would affect an entry, I believe, in the DRA, maybe attached to the deed, that there has to be substantial progress made on construction of a new hospital by X date.
It's in the deed.
Yeah, so
So
that
that- so
date
that-
is in the deed and still controls.
Okay, that's an important point just for a number of folks that have raised that concern. So that date is protected in the deed.
That's a
Yes.
property interest of the county, is not
Okay.
affected by the
Thank you.
DRA.
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay. Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, he uses 5 minutes up, so that's for sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Anybody else would like to come up here and say a few things about the hospital? You're welcome to come up. Okay. All right, then I guess at this time I'll go ahead and close the public hearing on 357. And any questions from council?
We're not voting.
Well, we're gonna.
Does this go on our next agenda for
Yes.
a decision?
We could do that, right?
Sure.
Or
Would you
we
keep
could,
the
or we
public-
could, there,
We keep it
we
open?
we can vote on, can we do an amendment?
You can vote on it, it's a resolution,
Right.
it's had, the public hearing is the second reading, so it is eligible for vote.
Well, considering there are 2 more meetings
You
that
don't
are
have
coming
to.
up.
It'll be scheduled for the next meeting. It can be scheduled.
It can be, or you can vote on it.
Well, since there are 2 more meetings coming up that
Mm-hmm.
are going to impact this, I think that we should not
Yeah.
shoot.
Plus, we're missing a council member too as well.
Right.
Right.
So next one, I'll have to wait till that next meeting. I don't think we'll do.
Excuse me?
To wait till our next meeting. I don't think
Yes.
we'll push.
Yeah.
Down the road.
If I may, just a brief comment. The town council has reviewed this, and we have a board meeting tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
So the hope was to finalize the DRA in time for a vote by the board meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the reason it's on your agenda. So, I mean, if there are questions or comments or concerns, I prefer that Ms. Van Denberg's here, I prefer to respond to those tonight if we could, and reach a conclusion.
I don't think this was going to be for a vote today.
Well, frankly, I think the controversial items in here have all been taken out into the items where there are still questions to be worked out. This does not, what remains in here does not impact the 662 question. It does not impact any of these other pieces. And
Some of the problem things that we have to sort of discuss and stuff again,
Then why don't we just do it all at one time?
because I think this helps them get them to that gets them to their next step. And in all honesty, between helping them on tomorrow with their big meeting and Friday, that this is something that we've been waiting for 15 years. So, you know, I think it's probably best at this stage that we're going to try to problem solve all these things in the next several weeks. By the end of this week, hopefully we'll know better if the hospital's physically coming and they've approved it, and I think it's going to help the whole community. So I really don't see any problem with moving forward with a vote.
And Councilmember Milkey, I think that really any of the items that would raise possible concerns have all been redlined out of this piece of the agreement, and this has been stripped down to bare bones to items that I don't think should raise any concerns for this council.
Well, I haven't independently made that decision.
Okay. Mr. Stepp, are you okay voting?
Can I ask what, if we did delay till our 25th meeting, what would that impact on the timetable? Just so we had all of council here.
Well, I'm not on the board. I mean, the goal and intent was to demonstrate that the community, the major issues, and one of those is just making sure we deal with infrastructure and don't have obligations that can't be met. The current DRA has terms that can't be met. Eastern Utilities can't deliver electric on the timing that's contemplated. The county can't deliver sewer on the timing that's contemplated. You know, Shore Health is building, the community center plans have changed because you built an addition, so the alignment of the road, you know, has been adjusted to reflect your addition. So I can't tell you what the board will do if it's not approved tonight. If it's approved tonight, certainly that's more helpful for us to represent tomorrow that the DRA approval from the county is complete. So I don't know that I can answer that, Mr. Stepp. You know, to the extent that there are questions or concerns about Route 662, That has to be addressed. Bill 1231 has to be amended to do anything other than complete construction before we close the existing road. So there's a forum for that and a venue where the council has authority in the future, and I understand we have to address your concerns.
Right. Yep. Mr. Stepp, how do you feel?
You feel like a vote this evening will help guide the meetings that are to come here tomorrow. I think you said tomorrow or Friday.
I think it's more, tomorrow is the full Alums Board meeting for approval of this project. The Friday meeting is the rate meeting before the health cost review, HSCRC. And so tomorrow's meeting, I think, is more likely to be potentially influenced or enhanced by an action by the council tonight, not Friday.
Mr. Thomas, how your feelings?
It's eligible for a vote. I mean, I think it's up to council to decide whether you want to move forward this evening or you can, whether you want to hold it over or hold it.
Because like Mr. Walter said, some of the concerns that we have with this really, we can still address those once we move forward with this.
That are in the red line, yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. If you want to
So
hold it,
there's
if you want to hold-
so there's still flexibility in how this moves forward if we vote on it this evening.
So if there is, then why do we have to move forward? Why can't we do it all at one time?
So, Mr. Showalter, you can elaborate on this. My understanding is that that what is before us is a stripped down version of the DRA, just the essentials that need to be enshrined in there, with all of those other elements that could cause hangups, such as the routing of 662, the provisions for water and sewer, et cetera. All removed and all to be addressed separately and at a later date, probably a date pretty soon, but nevertheless a later date than today, so that you have just the essentials of a DRRA that will allow the board to move forward in comfort with that you have the local support that you need for this project.
That's correct. So the public works agreement that defines all of the respective obligations associated with water and sewer and the other utilities, that will come before the council and has to be approved by the council. The county's funding obligations associated with water and sewer, the alignment or construction of the force main for water and sewer, all come before you separately. The issue of Route 662 will come before you in a bill to amend 1231 if that's the route that we take. What this does, it removes those infrastructure details from the DRA so that what's remaining is the general zoning vesting, the obligations of the parties to address all of the details in subsequent public works agreements.
We did, and thank you for the time to all involved, had the opportunity to go through the language that remains in that joint work session. I additionally took advantage of the hearing over at the town of Easton to glean a little bit more depth on this, and I appreciate that process. This, of course, is a complicated one, but I think because of that preparation that you've done with us, I certainly feel comfortable moving forward, and that we don't have anything in here that is a cause for concern.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So is the question whether I would like to move forward with a vote still?
That's the question.
Okay. Yes, I will move forward with a vote.
Okay. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
Abstain.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Thank you.
It's okay. Okay, sorry. It's okay.
That's my bad.
It's okay. It's okay. All right. Okay, next on the agenda, just a brief council consideration of the letter.
So I asked that this be added onto the agenda. We were copied, council was copied by a letter from the town of Trappe and Trappe East Business Holdings Trust regarding addressed to MDE that opposed the adoption by MDE of 338. And Mr. Thomas, if what am I leaving out here?
It was a letter from the town and the property owner, Trappe East Holdings Business Trust, asking that MDE disapprove Resolution 338 or at a minimum delete the 100,000 gallons per day capacity limit and the requirement for a comprehensive water and sewer plan amendment for each expansion of the lakeside facility.
And I think that we should hold on any action for this one until we can review draft language, and second until Councilmember Haith can weigh in. But just provide this opportunity tonight to encourage council members to provide our input to the county attorney for the content of our appropriate response.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. We'll hold off until next meeting. Okay. Next, public comment. Do we have any sign up?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay. All right. We're working on yeah. Council comment. Okay. Mr. Staff?
Just one quick one. Due to a prior obligation, I will not be here at our 25th meeting. Any votes that we have, I'll work with staff to make sure any proxies are prepared. So intend to vote on whatever we have that day still. So, thanks, sir.
Yep. Mr. Lesher?
I had the occasion to attend the ceremony honoring first responders just behind the courthouse, sponsored by the Prager Businesses, Blue Point Hospitality, and really want to commend all involved on a very well done ceremony and the recognition given to our first responders on that occasion. Thanks to all who were involved in that, and thanks to all who serve.
I had the pleasure to attend the FFA annual banquet, Future Farmers of America. And it was so gratifying to see the youth of today involved with agriculture and working towards promoting and maintaining our community as agriculturally based and focused. So I wish them all luck and cheer them on.
That's good. Good. And I'll just kind of wrap it up myself. We've got some tough decisions up here as council, that's for sure. We're changing the way life is around here when it comes to a new hospital. It's tough decisions. It's on our shoulders. We're going to make this happen. Hopefully Friday we have great news that it is coming closer and closer and been approved. So that's really what we have to look at. There's always going to be some whatnot stuff that we have to contend with, but that's why they got good leaders up here to make good choices and move forward on this, and we're going to figure it all out. So I just want everybody to know that. Mr. Showalters, I appreciate you being here and explaining that to us, that's for sure. But we're definitely 100% behind this hospital. I want to be put on the record for that, that's for sure. We don't want to be holding up, but we have to be cautious on how we handle business too. So you'll have to bear with us a little bit, but at least we gave you one step closer for tomorrow, that's for sure. So other than that, I'm glad everybody was here, and I really appreciate all your help, Mr. Staff and your staff, Jess and Susan, And not only that, Patrick, Mr. Thomas, we really appreciate all the work you're doing with working with Mr. Showers and all this. It's a lot of work, a lot of time. It's a lot of things that we have to sort of clean up from, 10 years ago. So some of this, because of new council, we got new council members, it takes a little while to understand these very difficult things that we're going through, and it's not something that's going to happen overnight. And Ms. Melky, I really appreciate you trying to work through that and understanding that, and I understand your vote. So you weren't comfortable with it. I understand that. That's why I didn't want to push you on something like that. That's for sure, because it's very important, and your intentions are not to hold anything up.
No, absolutely not.
So I appreciate that. So I just want to make sure that
Called due diligence.
right, everybody does their due diligence. Everybody's got to feel comfortable, and hopefully we'll get to the finish line for everybody. That's for sure. And Ray, you and Mike too. I forgot to say something about you guys. Really appreciate all the effort. You're in the trenches with this every single day. So if it's anything, it's going to be your fault. That's good. Okay. So that's good. Okay, because you report to us. So there's always a way out for the council. Okay. So anyway, really appreciate it. And Mr. Lesher, you want to go ahead and get us going out.
The County Council's next meeting will be held on Tuesday, June 25th, beginning at 5:00 p.m. The council will be convening an open session at 3:30 p.m. and then adjourning into closed session as listed on the statement for closing that meeting. Therefore, is there a motion to adjourn this meeting and reconvene as noted?
Yep. Okay, we got a motion and a second to adjourn. Madam Secretary, could you call the vote?
Mr. Callahan?
Aye.
Mr. Stepp?
Aye.
Mr. Lesher?
Aye.
Ms. Milky?
All right.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate everybody.